Well, good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John here with Kaiser on the sofa one more time, looking to get a weekend going here sooner or later. And if you're planning on anything this weekend, keep our sponsor in mind, Lazy J Farms and Butcher Shop. You can call them at any point today and tell them, hey, Butch, we need some steaks cut at 1 3/4 inches, 2 inches, whatever size you want, and he will get those prepared for you to pick up. Or if you're not lucky enough to live near the butcher shop, you can have a box of samplers of all their products sent right to your door if you get your order in by Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning early enough for them to make the run to your door with this. Anywhere in the continental United States, they'll ship a flash frozen box, and when you taste this beef, you're not going to believe the quality of it. Their chicken products, pork products, eggs, cheese, everything that they have in that butcher shop is actually wonderful, and when your taste buds grab on to what they have to offer you, you're in for a real treat. So remember, you'll find their number down below. You can find them on Facebook at Lazy J Farms and Butcher Shop, and the number right here for you. And we'll run their full commercial at the end of this program today, so stay tuned for that. And that'll bring us into what's going on in and around some parts of the world. Let's take a little jaunt into Ireland and try to figure out why Rosie O'Donnell gets worse by the day. The Trump derangement syndrome that she suffers from has to be detrimental to her own psyche. But she is getting more and more carried away as we go. And then you'll see here shortly where some people don't understand why she's saying what she is about this man that's in the White House when she gave a pass to several that were his forerunners that were not very good at being people of the caliber that we would expect to have in the White House in the United States of America. So let's take a look at Rosie as she gets worse by the day, and we'll start the day off with a little laugh here. We have a lot of very funny, interesting things to talk about today, so let's go right here.
I'm very happy that we get another 9 months of Stephen Colbert. And shame on Paramount. And shame on all of the corporate media companies who are bowing to him and kissing his ring and sucking his you-know-what.
She's a nasty woman. She's a really nasty woman.
Because this is the worst human that's ever been in the office. Bar none. Bar none. And America, you deserve better. And we must demand it. We must demand it. Because this is
the worst human that's ever been in the office. Bar none.
I beg to differ.
Let's add in the girls. Let's come back in with one big group shot. Come on in.
Do you know what my dad used to say? Your granddaughters have one important job. Take care of the pop. The most important one. Tom.
Oh, there you
go. Can I have one with Jess alone?
Very good.
The great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs.
You see that close-up picture of him literally taking that baby's leg like it's a chicken leg at a Sunday lunch. It's bizarre behavior, but there is a serious point, I think, which I think the rest of the world is making, looking in. which is it's very easy to forget that Joe Biden remains the president of the United States. And it's only when he pops up biting babies' legs.
This is the worst human that's ever been in the office.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. What a stupid son.
All right, we know that President Biden likes to cultivate his public image as kindly Uncle Joe, he's often referred to. But apparently behind the scenes, I'm talking about in private, he reportedly has a bit of a temper.
You know, in public, maybe he'll whisper a bit when he's trying to make a point, but behind closed doors, he's prone to yelling. It's much saltier language, and he'll really angrily grill into his staff to the point that some staffers are actually a bit afraid to meet alone with the president.
Really?
This is the worst human that's ever been in the office.
Let me be clear. If you're in a state where hurricanes often strike, like Florida or the Gulf Coast or into Texas, a vital part of preparing for hurricane season is to get vaccinated now. Everything is more complicated if you're not vaccinated and a hurricane or natural disaster hits.
Nope.
So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. The only thing, my being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole life. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Tonight, the White House revealing more classified material was found at President Biden's Delaware home. On Thursday, the White House confirmed, only after media reports, that a batch had been found in December in the garage where Mr. Biden keeps his sports cars.
And by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street. We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient. The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
You, what do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have?
Rosie is lost it big time. Why she thinks she's relevant is beyond me. But that brings us to back to our country here. And the wondering continues about what happened to 300,000 unaccompanied minors that were brought into this country through an open border by Mayorkas and Harris, led in by Biden. And the open door policy gave a lot of children away to NGOs and sponsors that were supposed to be taking care of these children. And when asked about it, they said, well, we gave each of these children an emergency number to call if they were being mistreated or needed help in any fashion. Well, let me just tell you how well that worked out. Let's take a look right here.
Under the last administration, what safeguards were put in place to protect vulnerable, unaccompanied children?
I previously discussed the post-placement welfare checks, which consisted of 2 phone calls. Again, if the sponsor didn't answer, the case was no longer followed up on. But there was also a notice of concern hotline where people could report concerns about the unaccompanied child's safety. But what this administration found was from August 2023 to January of 2025, 65,000 calls went unanswered.
Are you kidding me?
They gave a hotline for these kids to report if they were okay, if they needed anything, and 65,000 calls went unanswered. Do you know how many staffers the administration assigned to answering these phones and helping these kids?
One.
Any idea how many hours a day this staffer was working?
No.
Maybe that's why there were 65,000 calls that weren't answered from these little kids, huh? Unbelievable.
Makes me want to vomit.
So is there any wonder why they can't find over 250,000 of these children anymore, where they are, where they've been trafficked to, what field are they working in, what has befallen these children through no mistake of their own, were pumped in here by cartels and ne'er-do-wells on their country's borders. And it's not just Mexico. There were other children brought in here for the sake of getting across the border so they could prove that their non-parents were really their parents and separated from their real parents. It's a travesty when you stop and think about how anyone in the service of our government could allow this to take place and then make excuses for why they only put one person to answer the phone calls of 60-some thousand children that may have tried to call or did try to call and got no answer. One person for 300,000 children. Someone should be held accountable for this massive misjustice in our systems in this government. But yet, we see no indictments, nobody prosecuted. Everybody's still business as usual on the Democratic side. It's covered up. The blankets are being thrown on by MSNBC. The blankets and water are being thrown on anything of this nature by CNN and all of the legacy medias that are newspapers, ABC, NBC, CBS, all guilty. All have not been charged with anything for lying to the American population for 4 years over the situation that took place at our southern and northern borders. Let's not leave out the Canadian bunch that came through as well. So that brings us to the big question, is woke really dead? You know, we had so many woke agendas going on for 4 years, everything from even our transportation department, which you'll probably see something here throughout these memes today about that. It's a travesty, the money that had been spent and allocated to woke programs that did no one any good at all. None. All they did was shine a light on what is wrong and have people of good nature upset about it and try to fight against something that shouldn't be fought against. If you have a particular lifestyle and you want to live that lifestyle, that is completely up to you, and you're welcome to do that. But let's not plaster it all over the entire networks of all of the news media and all through our government and make it so you have to believe in certain things that you may be adverse to thinking about. Not saying that everybody has to walk your walk of life, but they on the other side of the wokeness generator that came out of our governmental personnel that tried to push these things didn't want to hear your side of the story. It was my side and my side only, and you must adhere to it. That's dictatorship in itself. But let's take a look and see if woke really is dead. Right here.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney has her genes.
I think I know what's happening. I think woke is dead. Woke is dead? It's dead, Butters. It's gone. You can just stay retarded now. Nobody cares.
What happened last week when they took a shot at my hero? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Direct action is our only avenue left, I fear. And we have reached a point of no return, so good luck, everyone.
Before we go on hiatus, we only have one more show after this. I'm allowed to say that, right?
Too late now.
So it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Oh no! What happened?
Before we go on hiatus, we only have one more show after this.
Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
So it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Hey Stewie, 3 o'clock. Time for The View. No, not again!
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire him.
Okay, that brings us to some Australian news. Sky News ran something on the use of fake doctors at CNN to talk about Donald Trump's venal problems and got set straight by a talk show host. And anyway, it's ridiculous that CNN can get away with passing someone off as a practicing doctor and an expert on the thrombotic problem that the president had experienced, which turned out to be really pretty much all 70-plus people, year-old people in the United States could be suffering from itself. So let's take a look at the CNN fake news expose.
Then just on the Epstein files, you did mention that before, it feels to me that an awful lot of people who used to call it a conspiracy theory are now revving it up because they want to create more noise around Donald Trump to distract from, all of this. But at the same time, I'm not sure the White House has handled this situation with these files, exactly, in the best kind of manner.
No, they haven't. They got this one wrong. Let's be candid. You can't deliver on every single one of your promises, from immigration to taxes to transparency, and then not deliver on the Epstein files. You just can't do it. It's been fascinating to see the president sort of try to make this go away with the wave of a hand, and the base of his party has said no. Keep in mind that one of the reasons that Congress left early for their summer vacation is that it was Republicans, not as much Democrats, Republicans who were saying, we need to hear. Yeah, the Democrats want to say it because they think it's going to make Donald Trump look bad. But it's the Republicans in the House who are willing to buck Donald Trump on this particular issue to say, no, Mr. President, we need to see this stuff. It's important that people can trust their government again. And the Epstein files are exposing the Epstein files are a big part of that.
Hey, Mick, I want to go to this meeting that just happened a few hours ago, between Donald Trump. He went down to the U.S. Federal Reserve to check up on the renovations. And so the President, Donald Trump, a former builder himself, and the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, had a little chat about the renovations. This looked to me almost like a scene out of The Office. Have a look at this.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added our entire capital plan. Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago.
Now there were some tense scenes there, but the president downplayed the exchange just a few minutes later.
No, I didn't think it was tense. No, I thought we had a good meeting. No, there was no tension.
Mick, what do you make of this whole standoff between the Fed chair? Now, obviously, Trump wants the Fed to bring down rates, but if Trump pushes too hard on this, he's really going to spook the markets. Where is this all going to go?
They want him to quit. They do. The relationship is over. They can't fire him because if they try and fire him, he'll sue, and the resolving that in court will take longer than Jay Powell has left in his term. He's only there till May under the term he's there for right now. But they don't like him and they want him to go, and they're going to do everything they can to make his life miserable. And I got to be honest with you, when you go a couple $100 million, in fact, I think it's $700 million over budget on your building, you give people the ammunition to make your life difficult. When you go to Congress and don't exactly testify completely, correctly, leave it to others as to whether or not it was honest or not, you give people more ammunition to make your life difficult. Jay Powell looked like a deer in the headlights today for a lot of this. You got to think he's not enjoying the job very much, and Trump wants him to go.
Yeah, well, we'll see how long he lasts. Hey, before I let you go, Mick, we're talking a lot about the media today because it is such a huge player in politics here. And there was an amazing revelation that I don't think many people have picked up on, that CNN reportedly used a fake doctor to rev up claims that President Trump's venous insufficiency diagnosis was somehow more serious than it might be. They turned to somebody called Chris Purnell, who's CNN's medical expert, but apparently she's not even a doctor and is reportedly a diversity, equity, and inclusion specialist who hasn't practiced medicine since her residency. Mick, this is just ridiculous.
No, it's not. It's par for the course. This is what the media does to Donald Trump. I mean, it just is. This has been going on now since Trump came down the steps in 2015. They hate the guy. They really do. And to most on the left, or many on the left, with what we call Trump derangement syndrome, the ends justify the means. Lying to people is okay. Lying about Donald Trump is okay. Making up doctors is okay. Covering for Biden's mental inabilities is okay. It's all okay as long as it's aimed at preventing Donald Trump from becoming president and then doing what he wants to do. So it doesn't surprise anybody who follows it. I'm just glad, again, the rest of the world is getting a chance to see it, because Republicans in this country have known that this kind of stuff is going on for years. It's just nice to sort of have it come out in the open for now.
Yeah, well, it's good to see it all laid out on the table for us. Mick Mulvaney, thanks as always for joining me.
Thanks, James.
So what other fake pundits are they putting out to get their points across? We know that MSNBC is using Sharpton to get their points across, and Gumby over there on Morning Jackass and his wife Mika are heavily involved in many, many cover-ups, that they have been caught on some of them, and their apologies were just lies to make excuses for the first lie they were caught in. And CNN is not far from that. Their viewership is down to next to nothing. So is MSNBC. They haven't learned their lesson yet. They have not got over this last election, and they don't like hearing what the real American population has to say, or how we think, or how to shade something that is not a benefit to any taxpayer to look like it's all Donald Trump's fault, everything. this has to come to an end. There's a lot happening right now in our country that we should be very, very proud of. And yes, it takes time to put things together, like tariff situations, trade deals, and getting back to normal as far as getting the illicit criminals out of our cities and back from whence they came. This is a product that takes a lot of time to maneuver through. And we have a cast of characters in this cabinet that are very well capable of handling that situation. And how they're handling it is very humane, no matter what they try to tell you about alligator Alcatraz and the real Alcatraz out in off the coast of San Francisco may be opened again. I hope for a fact that it is reopened. It's been a museum now for a while, but why not put it back into use? We have so many places that are available to hold the criminal element so they do show up for a court date, not the one they were given when they broke through the border in some cases, that they have just ignored in some cases for 6 years. Let's put them somewhere where we know where they are. And if we're housing children with NGOs that are being paid by the month, that needs to come to a screeching halt, and we need to figure out a different method of dealing with these children. The children are not at fault here. The cartels are at fault. Our former government officials from the last 4 years are at fault. But once again, as I say all the time, we're not seeing any indictments. We're not seeing any consequences for these people that were involved up to their eyeballs in it. But hopefully some of that will come along as we move through things. But as we sit here, the Democrats are turning on Barack and Hillary, and it's becoming more and more evident that they're trying to distance themselves from these two individuals that are the old guard in the estimation of these newbies that are rising to the top of the Democratic cream. Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Bernie Sanders is ancient, but he's involved in this transfer of idiocy that they want to bring into the city of New York. They're all behind that. Ilhan Omar, Tlaib, Jayapal. These are all the rising Democratic Party that are all socialist. They're in some cases communist. And they are trying to take over our government if allowed to. And that, my friends, is entirely up to us, the voter here in the United States, on whether or not we would like to have that happen. There's already talk that it's in the bag in New York for this Mondavi character. AOC is out and raised $15 million. You must be out of your mind to give that idiot any money. And Jasmine Crockett is out raising money to get the districting in Texas redone to her favor so she can get her guy in that now thinks that he's, because Joe Rogan told him he should run for president, he thinks he's a front runner in everything now. And that won't work out well for Texas. It will not work out well for the United States of America. And we will never accept socialism as a government in this country. We saw, we came, we looked at and watched the collapse of communism and socialism around the world. It benefits no one but the people that are sitting at the top of the echelons of whatever party Democratic Socialist Party, they will do well. You will work for them. As Bernie says, you will be the worker. You will be the worker because we don't want any more oligarchs unless they're our and my oligarchy. This is what we're getting out of the left. But let's take a look at some Democrats' turn on Barack and Hillary right here.
All right, Mueller. What'd you find?
Yeah, let's see what that $32 million bought us.
Well, my investigation, Crossfire Hurricane, followed by a special counsel probe, looked at every angle of the alleged Trump-Russia collusion. So, what's the outcome? Well, we indicted 37 individuals, secured 7 guilty pleas, and uncovered Russian interference through social media and hacking of Democratic servers.
Well, that's good, right?
Well, here's the thing. We found no evidence that Donald Trump or his campaign conspired or coordinated with Russia. You what? I found no evidence Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia to influence the 2016 election.
No evidence? Ha, Robert, we were told the Steele dossier had damning details. Secret meetings, Russian support for Trump. You're saying none of it held up?
The dossier, funded by Hillary's campaign and the DNC, had unverified, uncorroborated allegations. The FBI couldn't confirm collusion. But it did raise questions about your team's role in pushing the narrative.
You're not suggesting we did something wrong, are you?
Yeah, the dossier was just opposition research. Standard practice.
Documents suggest your campaign proposed tying Trump to Russia. The FBI's probe started with unverified tips, not hard evidence. The trail points more to your actions than Trump's.
Robert, you know I wasn't directing any spying. Those Obamagate claims Trump's been shouting about on his campaign are baseless. The Inspector General found no political bias in the FBI's FISA warrants or Crossfire Hurricane.
True. No evidence of you directing spying, but the collusion narrative, amplified by leaks, fueled years of investigations without proving Trump's guilt. Evidence keeps circling back to decisions under your watch.
Robert, you were paid to investigate Trump!
Yeah, we didn't pay you to investigate us. We paid you to investigate not us.
Well, this can't get out. If people think we manufactured this, what's next? Prosecutions? And, just to make sure, you spell your name with 2 L's, right?
It's interesting what's going on and what's being uncovered, whether or not we'll see indictments, whether or not we'll see any justice. But you have to remember, the court. This would have to go to a court in D.C., and if you have any monicum of what goes on in the court system in D.C., it's a riot because they're all appointed left-sitting judges that were put in place by people like Barack Obama, like Joe Biden, and you won't see justice in those courts. You haven't till now, and unless some miracle happens, and that has been known to take place. We have a God that is watching this country right now. He has his hand on the leaders of this country right now, and hopefully if we pray and pray hard enough, he will help us bring back the original Constitution that was built on God. In God we trust. And in Jesus Christ is our Savior. And that will bring us to a quick exit here into Stupid Town one more time for a look at what's going on in the walls of crazy right here.
Can you feel the shift? It's starting. Men are being exposed for being the frauds that they are. There's nothing alpha about them. They don't protect. They do not provide. They are the most selfish individuals on the planet. They are responsible for 99% of violent crime. When women rule, which is coming, grape will be punishable by death. Sexual harassment, castration, abortion available on every street corner, but we'll castrate you.
"5 days since I have been able to eat anything. Why, may you ask? Why haven't you eaten 5 days, Courtney? Well, because Donald Trump decided to change the rules when you collect welfare benefits, food stamps, cash assistance, Section 8, disability, whatever it is. So I have been cut off. I have never worked a day in my life. I have 6 kids, 6 mouths to feed, 4 baby daddies. Okay, I don't receive child support. I don't have any income. I've never had a job. I'm not ever going to have a job. I don't want a job. The whole point of having the kids was to get government benefits. I have been collecting almost $10,000 a month in government benefits for 13 years. And now they just strip it from me. They take it from me. How the hell am I supposed to feed my kids? How? How am I supposed to pay rent? This is bullshit. Not only that, I have over 335,000 followers, and not one person has offered to help me. What's the point of having all these followers if they don't care, right? It is your responsibility as a taxpayer to support me and my kids. So, support me.
You're the first cabinet secretary, I was shocked to learn this, that's ever taken parental leave. Lessons from that for other senior government officials and private sector executives?
Well, look, I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad that I had the support of my boss in this administration.
Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner.
Look, the last thing I'm thinking about right now is any job.
He's a disaster.
It's taken about 110% of my energy to take care of my family.
Mayor Pete! I've had you up to here, Mayor Pete.
Whatever the circumstances are that allow you to expand your family and become a parent, you need to have that time.
You know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation?
Not just for connecting with your child, but just for adjusting your life.
Buttigieg!
And this is something that every American ought to have.
He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit. Alfred E. Newman.
This is Bill Cosby. Now that everybody has told you about the dangers of doing drugs, I'd like to tell you about some of the benefits. Just imagine yourself unconscious.
No!
whirlwind.
On your son, Hunter Biden, President Trump says, Sleepy Joe has real problems. Reminds me of Crooked Hillary and her 33,000 deleted emails. There's one thing a lot of Democrats even do wonder about. Hunter Biden, your son, was getting paid a lot of money to serve on the board of a Ukrainian energy company facing serious corruption charges. You were the vice president running point on Ukraine. The average Joe hears that and says, that sounds fishy. What's your understanding of what your son was doing for an extraordinary amount of money?
I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board. I found out he was on the board after he was on the board, and that was it.
That doesn't pass the smell test.
There's nothing on his face that was wrong. I mean, come on. You know there's not one single bit of evidence, not one little tiny bit to suggest anything done was wrong.
I probably smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone that you know, I'm sure, Tracy. Him, and everybody around him.
You seem a little crazy.
I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is.
Wow.
I always say tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary.
And you know, when the president guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering forecast abilities of the government, he's put this country in so much danger by his horrible, horrible decisions and this ridiculously immoral bill that he just signed into law. People will die as a result, and they've started already. Happy 4th of July.
Rosie is a very unattractive person, both inside and out.
Well, that's our look into Stupid Town today, and I wish you all a very, very happy weekend. Remember to continue on after we sign off to see the Butcher Shop ad that we'll run after our program ends here today. And God bless you all, and remember, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for all your commentary, news bits, and a look around Appalachia as we travel a little bit here and there. God bless you all. Bye-bye now.
Lazy J Farms has been raising the finest cattle and all-natural pork for 3 generations on the family farm in Fall Branch. Their blonde Aquitaine herd offers a leaner, healthier, and more tasteful beef. And the butcher shop is local, farm to table, and 100% authentic. This is the way your grandfather shot for me, with steaks cut to order, quality assured, and ready to ship to your door. Open Thursday through Saturday on Bloomingdale Road in Kingsport. Come see us.
Thank you.